Yellowstone National Park is home to hundreds of geysers, hot springs and fumaroles, all features made possible by the magma chamber residing beneath the park. While most visitors come to see the beautiful wildlife or hike its many trails, few realize that they are standing on top of one of the largest and most powerful volcanoes on the planet. But what if I told you that we may have dodged a bullet when it comes to this supervolcano? Did ancient Native Americans flee Yellowstone due to past eruptions? What about the time a lava dome was about to collapse? Today, we're going to take a look at a few close calls in Yellowstone's history that could have spelled disaster for the surrounding areas. Welcome to my channel. We are starting today with the most recent magma intrusion into the Yellowstone caldera, dating back to just 13,000 years ago. This eruption was not only the most recent, but also the largest eruption in the Holocene epoch. During this time period, there has been an increase in volcanic activity around the world. While 13,000 years may seem far off in the past, this would have been during the last ice age when glaciers covered much of North America. During this time, the melting of these glaciers led to rising sea levels, so high that scientists believe this meltwater may have contributed to the flooding of the Yellowstone caldera. This event allowed for water to reach the magma chamber and cause a hydrothermal eruption. The magma chamber created enough pressure to break through the solidified rock and lava from previous eruptions, sending mud, ash and pumice flying up to 6 miles into the air. And while the magma chamber was able to breach the surface, the actual magma did not reach the surface. This eruption produced a pyroclastic flow which traveled 62 miles from the caldera and created the Mesa Falls and the modern-day Yellowstone Lake. Pyroclastic flows are known for their speed and temperature, reaching speeds of up to 430 miles per hour and temperatures as high as 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Had this eruption been larger and produced more pumice, it's likely that the entire region would have been buried under a thick layer of debris. In addition to the pumice, this eruption also produced 240 cubic miles of ash and deposited it over much of the western United States. In fact, ash from this eruption was discovered as far away as Mexico and Canada. While people were not around to witness this event, scientists do believe that animals did perish from the eruption. It's estimated that 30% of mammal species in the area went extinct due to the eruption, and a further 70% of the remaining species suffered population declines. In addition to the eruption creating the new landscape we see today, it also left behind a large number of archaeological sites. Scientists were able to discover a pre-contact Native American site on the southern shore of Yellowstone Lake. However, the artifacts found date back only 11,000 years, which means that Native Americans fled the area after the eruption. That being said, researchers have been unable to connect this event to any oral histories of local tribes, and some researchers suggest that since the eruption occurred during the last ice age, early humans may have simply migrated to follow herds of animals in warmer climates. Regardless, this eruption left its mark on the landscape and the people who lived there. But we are not quite done talking about this eruption just yet. If you visited Yellowstone, you may have seen the beautiful waterfalls and hot springs that dot the landscape. These amazing features are the result of water seeping into the ground and mixing with the magma chamber. In the case of the waterfalls, the water is heated and then falls over the side. In the case of the springs, the water bubbles to the surface, bringing along minerals and other elements that turn the water a beautiful shade of blue. In either case, these features require water to exist. And in the case of the 13,000-year-old eruption, water actually helped to cause the eruption in the first place. However, had this eruption been more powerful and reached the surface, these features may not exist today. Instead, the water table may have boiled and created massive steam explosions similar to those seen at Krakatoa in Indonesia. When Krakatoa erupted in 2018, it produced a 300-foot tsunami and caused thousands of deaths. Had something similar happened at Yellowstone, it's likely that the surrounding states would be underwater. Yellowstone is known as a supervolcano because it has the potential to produce a volcanic explosivity index of 8 eruption. A VEI-8 eruption would send over 1,000 cubic miles of material into the air and cover much of the United States in ash. While scientists don't believe that such an event will occur anytime soon, the thought of such a large eruption does keep scientists on their toes. In order to monitor the volcano, scientists use a variety of tools such as seismographs to detect earthquakes and GPS to measure changes in the land. They also collect data from the various geysers and hot springs to determine if the magma chamber is getting larger. While the chances of a large eruption are small, scientists do believe that smaller eruptions are likely to occur in the future. In fact, this is why the United States government created the Yellowstone National Park. At the time, the government hoped to hide the volcano by making it a national park so that tourists would flock to the geysers and hot springs instead of worrying about the volcano. Another close call for Yellowstone occurred just 500 years ago with the Lava Creek eruption. This eruption produced 20 cubic miles of ash and deposited it over much of the northern Rocky Mountains. To put that number into perspective, the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption produced 12 cubic miles of ash and completely leveled a large section of the mountain. The Lava Creek eruption also created a lava dome on the northeast corner of the Upper Geyser Basin. You may recognize the name as the location of the Old Faithful Geyser. This lava dome grew to a height of 300 feet and contained about 1.3 cubic miles of material. Eventually, the sides of the dome became too steep and collapsed, releasing a pyroclastic flow that traveled 12 miles to the northeast. While no one was living in the area at the time, there were bison, horses, and other mammals that perished from the eruption. The good news is that this eruption marked the end of the Yellowstone eruption cycle. Prior to this eruption, there had been an average of one major eruption every 640,000 years. Now scientists believe that the next eruption will not occur for another 70,000 years. While the Lava Creek eruption was occurring, another eruption was just getting started in Italy. Mount Vesuvius had begun its eruption that would eventually bury the Roman city of Pompeii in ash. If the Lava Creek eruption had occurred 100 years earlier, it's possible that Native Americans would have witnessed both of these events. Unfortunately, the Lava Creek eruption was not the last time that a lava dome collapsed. In 1985, a lava dome at Mount Unzen in Japan collapsed, producing a pyroclastic flow that killed 43 people. In 1988, a series of earthquakes shook the area near Yellowstone, leading to concerns that the magma chamber may be reactivating. While scientists now believe that these earthquakes were unrelated to the magma chamber, they did have an impact on the landscape. In fact, these earthquakes led to the formation of a new earthquake lake called Hebgen Lake. The earthquakes also damaged nearby Norris Geyser Basin, causing geysers to go dormant. Yellowstone is home to many unique and beautiful features, but it is important to remember that it is a powerful volcano that has the potential to cause great destruction. While we have dodged a bullet with its past eruptions, it is important to continue to monitor the volcano so that we can be prepared for any future eruptions. Maybe you've visited Yellowstone National Park before? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.